Hey guys, my name is Zan. Welcome back to my channel. If you're a recurring viewer, if you are new here, welcome and join the family. I have missed the last couple of weeks doing video because I have not felt very good. And I got some time alone. Joseph has the kiddo at a friend's house tonight actually, so I decided to seize the moment and do some recording like I've been meaning to because I actually feel well enough to do so. So today's video is going to be a little on the lighthearted side. These are serious issues, serious things that I'm going to be talking about, but some of them are meant to be kind of lighthearted or presented in a lighthearted way. So my topic for today is talking about things that I miss about being able-bodied. Now, I'm the kind of person where I don't mind being disabled. Like, being disabled isn't the end of the world to me. And when I first became disabled, it was very difficult for me to handle because I went through a mourning period where I mourned the loss of my able-bodiedness. When I was younger, and I believe I've mentioned this in other videos, but when I was younger, I had chronic pain, which we thought was some kind of idiopathic juvenile arthritis of some sort. And that went away when I was 17, 18-ish. The chronic pain kind of went away, which is one of the reasons why we thought that it was some kind of like juvenile arthritis thing. And so I enjoyed a few years of being relatively able-bodied, and that was when I was able to, go into the Navy, and I almost made it through, except that I got sick, and that ended up, we think, kind of leading into the disability issues that I have now. So I do miss being able-bodied. I do miss being able to do things like have all the energy that I needed to do the workouts and stuff from the Navy. I miss, being able to go and dance every night and all that stuff. So this is kind of just a little list that I have put together of things that I miss about being able-bodied. And that is not to say at all that, that's not to say that I view my disability as a negative thing, like I've already said. It's just, this is just simply things that I wish I could do again that weren't such a challenge now. So the first one is kind of a specific to my disability, whatever the heck may be going on with me, because I suffer from episodes of paralysis. One of the things that I miss is not being able to make minor position changes. It really sucks when I'm like laying down in bed at night and like my foot is placed in a way that's like I can deal with it, but it's not like totally comfortable, so I have to kind of like try to reach down and move my foot, and it takes like a dozen or so little tiny minute changes to get it to like feel like it's totally comfortable, and then I can settle back down, but by the time I'm settling back down, my foot has shifted again, and so I have to go and reach down and move my foot again, and eventually I just give up and I'm like, you know what, screw it, I don't care, I'm just gonna suffer through the uncomfortableness just to try to get some sleep, but then like it makes me more like uncomfortable. And so that uncomfortableness makes it difficult for me to go to sleep, and it is just a never-ending vicious cycle. So yeah, that's one thing that I really miss, is I really miss being able to make minor position changes when my limbs shut down. One of the other things that I miss is being able to see myself in the mirror. So my bathroom, right behind me, the mirror in the bathroom is set up on the wall. It's like this mirror medicine cabinet type thing. And so it's set up on the wall where if I'm sitting in my wheelchair, I can't see myself in the mirror. So it was about a month of me not being able to see myself in the mirror before Joseph finally brought a small mirror home for me to put on the sink vanity behind like the faucet itself, so that when I would go to the bathroom I would actually be able to see myself again. So yeah, I missed that. During that time I didn't have a mirror to like do makeup. I didn't have a mirror to do my hijab with. I would have to try to, do the things using like the camera on my phone, which it's not always quite as clear as, a mirror is. It's just kind of nice sometimes to go into the bathroom and glance over and see your beautiful smiling face back at you. But yeah, I missed that. So I'm very thankful to have my little tiny mirror now sitting there behind the faucet. I miss not having to be carried like a damsel in distress all the time. I make the joke that when Joseph carries me, like that sort of bridal style carry where like your body is draped over the person's arms, like when we get me out of the house, we'll take my wheelchair down the first couple of steps from the door to the porch, but then we have to carry me from the porch into the car. Because of the way our driveway is set up, we can't wheel my wheelchair down the porch steps and up to the car door because the gravel's too loose. So we have to actually pick me up and carry me. I say we, it's actually them. It's like Joseph or his brother Jacob, or, my friend Alex will sometimes pick me up and carry me into the car, things like that. Or people like that. Joseph's sister Caitlin does it sometimes too if we need to. But like, it's them. They're the ones carrying me. I hate feeling like a damsel in distress. Like, I don't know, it always gives me this like mental image of like, oh, I'm such a poor, delicate flower princess and you have to carry me everywhere. I don't like that. I'm a very independent person. I like to do things on my own. I like to try to figure out how to do things on my own. It's difficult for me to swallow my pride enough to ask for help when I need to. So being carried isn't my ideal form of transportation. So I do miss not being able to at least somewhat get myself places, but we are working on fixing that. Our maintenance guy is going to help us put in a temporary ramp until we can get a nicer one built so that I can at least get out of the house, which will be nice. This one kind of goes back quite a ways because I haven't been able to do this particular one for a few years, and that is things like climbing trees, hiking, riding horses, going swimming, those kinds of things. Like, I can swim with like my disability right now, with the way it is, I can swim. I just don't have access to a pool very much, but things like before that, like climbing trees, hiking, going on walks, things like that, I really like being out in nature. And right now it's really difficult for me to do that because nature is not the most wheelchair accessible place. And yeah, especially climbing trees is not wheelchair accessible at all. So I do miss that. And I know climbing trees isn't the safest thing to do. But I was a climber when I was younger, even through the pain that I had. I was always a climber. I loved climbing trees. I was never really afraid of heights, as long as I had a clear path down from wherever I was. So I loved climbing, and I miss that. And I miss, going up into the mountains and just exploring the landscape, or even if there's no mountains around, if there's like a wooded, forested area, whatever. I miss just going and enjoying the nature. I don't get to do that very often anymore, and I'm hoping that, once I'm able to, drive again, once I have vehicle controls for my car, which as of right now are waiting at the post office for me, but I have to wait. It's Saturday night. I have to wait until Monday morning to go and get them, and I'm so mad that I didn't get the notification earlier so I could go pick them up today. Anyway, once I have, better car accessibility for me, then maybe I can start, going out and doing things. I can go to the city park and, walk around at the city park, and I can take the little bean with me, and we can go, wheel around the path at the city park, because the city park has a really nice pathway thing that goes kind of back into the little, like, nature-y area. It's really nice. Anyway, I miss doing that stuff. I especially miss riding horses, but that's kind of more like I haven't had access to horses to ride for a long time. So, I miss being able to reach things on the top shelves, because when I'm in my wheelchair, I am a short little bean. I miss being able to reach things on my own, and Joseph will sometimes laugh at me struggling to try to reach something on the top shelf, because I'll like get myself all the way forward in my wheelchair and stretch as far as I can to try to reach that one thing that I just can't quite get, and it irritates me. And we haven't yet gotten me one of those little, like, contraptions that has, like, the claw on the end of it that you, like, squeeze the trigger and it, like, clamps the claw shut. We haven't gotten me one of those yet, and I would really like one, but when I have Joseph around, it's not that big of an issue, because he'll watch me try to reach something and he's like, babe, just let me get it. And finally I have to be like, fine. So yeah, I miss being able to reach things. But I can reach things on the floor better than some other people can, because, like, I'm able to, like, I will grab onto, like, my push rim on one side and be able to use that to stabilize myself, to, like, lean down and, like, sweep something up off the floor or whatever. So I can reach things down low much better than other people can, but I just can't get the high things. Like, I understand now what it's like being a really short person, struggling to get things, and constantly having taller people be like, let me get that for you. So anyway, I miss being able to reach things. This one's a really funny one. I am inadvertently, constantly on accident, making eye contact with people's crotches, and I don't like that. Because depending on how tall somebody is, I'm either looking at their belly button or I'm looking right at their crotch without meaning to. And that's always really awkward, because, like, I'll look up from my lap and, like, someone's crotch is, like, right there in my face. And so I have to be like, whoa, okay. But, yeah, that's one that I've kind of learned to, like, close my eyes until, like, my eyes are up here, so that I'm not accidentally looking at people's crotches right in front of my face. And then the last one isn't quite so lighthearted, but it's kind of a little bit more on the serious side of things. But I do miss just being able to go out and do things. Like, I miss being able to just go out and go to dance class. Now that, that I've been in my wheelchair more often than I'd like to be, excuse me. Now that I'm in my chair more often than I like to be, it's much more difficult for me to just get up and go. I have to plan things out. And now, especially with me having a kid, I have to plan things out on both fronts. On, how do I get myself out of the house with my wheelchair, and how do I do that while carrying a kid with me? And I know that that's going to be something that's going to get easier with time as I learn to navigate being in a wheelchair a little bit more full-time than I'd like to be. And as she gets older, like when she starts to, walk and things like that, then I can just have her walk out to the car. But for right now, she can't do any of that stuff. I have to carry her myself. So I either have to try to put the car seat on my lap somehow and carry her that way, or I have to try to put her in the infant carrier and then would get her out to the car, or things like that. So that's always, there's a lot of logistics in when you talk about disability of any kind, there's a lot of logistics. And I talked about that in the, I think, what did I call that video? The morning routine video, or what it's like for me getting up in the mornings. I talked a little bit about that. It's constant logistics, it's constant planning when you have a disability. And then the last thing that I will end on is, and I touched on this briefly at the start of this video, I miss dance. That's been the hardest thing for me, being in my wheelchair for the last month and a half-ish. I miss dance. When I gave birth and was well on the road to recovery from that, I was very ready to return to work because I missed my work, and I was very ready to return to dance class because I miss dancing. And for those of you who don't know, I belly dance. And I will always be a belly dancer, whether I am in my wheelchair for the rest of my life or not. I will always be a belly dancer. You will not be able to take that out of me. But I miss being able to do that because with belly dancing, a very large part of that style of dance is hip movements. It's like full body movements. It's how your body moves, and like all dance is like that, but it's specifically with belly dancing because that's the dance that I know the best. It's the isolation of the different layers of your body and then how that isolation works with each other. And right now I have like a whole sphere of my body that I can't use that's very crucial to the style of dance that I do. And so I miss that. Like, I can still do, all the moves with my upper body and everything, but I can't do the hip drops. I can't do the kicks anymore. I can't do that stuff. So that's been the most difficult thing for me right now, is because the week that I went into this particular episode was the week I was planning on going back to dance, and it was actually also the week that I was planning on going back to work. And I didn't get that luxury. That was kind of, I feel like, taken away from me because of this particular episode. And so I'm looking forward to going back to dance. And I've already decided that once I get my controls put in my vehicle and I get a ramp done and everything, I'm still going to be going back to dance, whether I can walk or not. I am going back because I miss it. It's not going to be quite the same, but I'm not going to let this take that dancing away from me. So that's kind of all that I have on my list right now. I've talked long enough, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave it there. I think the next video I have planned on my list, which is one that I tried to do a couple weeks ago, is how I do transfers and stuff with my kiddo. We had all the footage for that, but I had issues getting it put into the video editor and all that stuff, so I think we're just going to refilm it on my phone instead so that I can use the iMovie, since I have an Apple phone, so that I can just use iMovie to piece everything together instead of trying to deal with the video editor that I have on my laptop. So anyway, that is to come. I plan on doing a couple of different story times requested by a friend of mine on some different disability topics, and that's kind of all I have planned for right now. We'll see what I come up with after that. So yeah, anyway, until next time, you guys have lovely days, evenings, nights, whatevers, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!